Joining us now is Jason Beardsley, former Department of Defense senior advisor and a former Green Beret. Jason, we had been hearing for some time how Ukraine had been in desperate need of weapons and equipment. They were falling behind, it seemed, in this war. So how are they able to pull off this audacious attack?
Yeah, this is a very ambitious attack, and what they really did was calculated risk here, which may have some near-term advantages, but it also comes with some long-term disadvantages. Holding that terrain inside Russian territory, first and foremost, is very difficult. They have a rear guard action now that they're going to have to defend against the population. There's insurgency problems, and then there's the direct problem of direct confrontation with Russian assets very close to the heart of Russia. So the ability to consolidate and defend what they've held is going to be strained beyond a couple of weeks. This is a pretty tenuous situation to be in.
The New York Times put it like this, quote, "This offensive is a major gamble. If Ukrainian troops are able to hold territory, they could stretch the capacity of Russian troops, deliver a major embarrassment for Mr. Putin, and get a bargaining chip for any peace negotiations. But if Russia manages to push Ukrainian troops out of Kursk and simultaneously move forward in eastern Ukraine, Ukrainian military leaders could be blamed for giving Russians an opening to gain more ground." Is this a major gamble for Ukraine?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're taking territory in another country where the military has a lot of capacity to refit and resupply, and you do not. Remember, the resupply for Ukraine has to come from Sumy and nearby regions. Those are lines of communication, roads, fuel, food, things like that they're going to have to continue to supply, which are all opportunity targets for Russian air power, Russian drone, Russian artillery. So the longer this goes on, the harder it gets. And bear in mind, there's a gas metering station that's about 500 meters within the border of this region, this oblast, where Ukraine could fall back reasonably, hold that position, and then use it as a negotiating chip down the road. But the politics of this look more like theatrics, and Volodymyr Zelensky probably parlaying this to really try to get more support from the West and ensure that his home defense has got a bolster of sort of success, because right now the lines have been stalemated for a long time.
Putin said Russia will, quote, squeeze the enemy, and said Kyiv will receive a, quote, worthy response. Is a Putin pushed to the edge a more dangerous Putin?
That's a great question. He's been flirting along the edge for a while, but we've seen a lot of restraint, to be honest, from Moscow. Part of their doctrine allows them to utilize things like low-yield tactical nuclear weapons, if you could even say such a thing. He has not done that, and he's been pushed a little bit. They have a reasonable defense inside Ukraine, so this is now going to probably have a little bit of blowback on those forces. And what's really tragic here is the 300, 400, or 1,000 troops that the Ukrainians use now have to defend a large territory in the enemy's homeland. That takes away a little bit of their energies in the southern regions of the Donetsk and Luhansk province. So this is not a clear shot to victory here. But if they can eke out a political or diplomatic negotiation in the meantime, it may play to their advantage. But it's got to be done quick, otherwise they're really extending their lines.
Jason Beardsley, I appreciate the conversation. Thanks for sharing your expertise.